A common misconception about the schizoid full self system is that we use a false persona in order to purposefully deceive people and to create a false impression about who we are. And this is definitely not the case. Our full self system or social persona is part of our defense mechanism, and it enables us to engage with the world in a social sense without having to use our true self. And this way, our true self remains protected as we navigate social situations. It's something that is an adaptive measure, which means that it occurs naturally and it's occurred through a need for us to interact with the world, whilst at the same time having defenses in place that mean that we can't engage our true self in social activity. So it's not a choice, it's not something that we purposefully do, it's something that has naturally evolved through a necessity that we have to socialize in order to get by in the world and to appear as being normal and to blend in and to not stand out from other people. So it's more about coping than about dishonesty or being deceitful. A misconception that people also have is that the schizoid full self is going to be similar. Schizoid individuals all have very unique and different full self systems that, because we come from different backgrounds, different social spheres, we've had different needs throughout our lives, our full self systems develop differently. Some schizoid individuals have highly socially adaptive full self systems, which means that they're able to integrate into a wide array of social circumstances, whereas other schizoid individuals have more basic full self systems, which means that they're going to have a lesser spectrum of social situations that they're going to be able to fit into and adapt to. And this is due to the level of social exposure they may have had growing up, parental direction and guidance, and also depending on like what sort of culture they grew up in. So there's a lot of different factors that influence the schizoid full self system. And so there is going to be a lot of variance from individual to individual as to how it's used and how frequently it's used and other factors related to that. Another misconception is that the full self system is always going to be detrimental to schizoid individuals, that it's something that's negative or bad for us. This isn't true. As I mentioned earlier, it is an adaptive mechanism. It's something that has evolved in order to help us to blend in, to journey harmoniously throughout society, because we are conflict avoidant. And so we want our social interactions to run as smoothly as possible. And it enables us to pass as normal. And so basically it's not inherently bad, but it can cause problems if it's far out of alignment with our true self or true self values, and or also if we are using it too frequently and hence we lose touch with our true self, or if we align our full self with a group of people that are not necessarily good for our well-being. So in a positive, healthy sense, our full self can enhance our journey socially in the sense that it can enable us to pass through social situations with greater ease. But on the negative side, for example, if a person grew up in an area where there was a high, would have had exposure to like gang culture in their neighborhood, and in order to blend in and fit in socially, they were persuaded, or they felt they needed to adhere to the group, and that group was a gang. And if that gang was to be involved in criminal activities, for example, then the full cell system would be aligned with those negative activities and practices, which could lead, of course, to negative consequences. So, because we do adapt to the people that are around us, and we do adopt their value systems and consider their needs and points of view, we do need to be careful who we socialize with, who we're exposed to, who we spend time with, and the sort of groups that we become affiliated with. Another concept is that schizoid individuals are detached from reality because of our full self system, and this is something that isn't true. We are aware of reality, it's just that our full self system acts as like a in between, a go between our true self and the external world. And so for that reason, it's like we are aware of everything that's going on, we're in touch with reality. It's just that our true self is emotionally detached from the social situation, not that we are out of touch with reality of the social situation. We do feel alienation as schizoid individuals, but that's not because we're out of touch with reality. That's just because our true self can seem so profoundly different from the other selves that we see and witness around us, but we are in touch with reality, just emotionally detached from it during social interactions. Another misconception is that the true self prevents us from forming real relationships with other people. And this is something that's also not true, because it's going to depend on how much our full self is in alignment with our true self. The way that it will work is that our full self can be used as a tool to create a bridge between our true self and the external world. If we can position ourselves in social situations and groups that align with some of our true self values, our full self can be an asset in creating connections, at least intellectually or through ideas. For example, like say we had interest in the field of the arts, we could socially interact in groups that were interested in those same things, and we have the potential to make mental connections with other people who share our interests, and that is a way in. So the full self can be used, if managed well, if in alignment with our true self values, to form social connections in under certain circumstances.